Well, it's not often we get to go head-to-head against each other, but today is one of those days, and we're going to take a look at the LG G4, the newest phone on the market from LG, versus the Asus ZenFone, just recently came out as well.
Yeah, the ZenFone 2. They're making their entry into the North American market, and so this is the phone that's going to change the North American world.
Well, I think the biggest differentiator right out of the gate is the fact that the LG G4 is some phone that you can actually get with various carriers. In Canada, you can look at Bell, for example.
Yeah, but like, who wants to deal with the carriers? You know, if you want to get a phone, people have the right to buy a phone outright, and with this, the ZenFone 2, you don't buy it from a carrier. You can go and buy it directly online or at one of the retail stores, and then put your own SIM in it, completely unlocked, so you don't have to sign your life away on those contracts.
Yeah, well, we'll see if the carriers like that or not, but again, that is a great feature because you pick your phone, choose your carrier, but you're not getting the subsidy that you might get if you bought this phone through a carrier. Nevertheless, let's talk about specs, Andy. Okay. Let's go head-to-head here. Processor, Snapdragon 808 6-core processor, lightning fast in the Android Lollipop operating system.
Inside here, Intel, baby. Intel is back, and they are entering the smartphone market by partnering with Asus. It's got an Atom processor that does really well. If you're the folks at Qualcomm, you should be worried because from what you get, the value out of this processor is very, very competitive, especially to the high-end one.
So now, because we don't have a direct comparison, we're going to have to spend some time opening apps and closing apps to see which one actually performs better. Let's talk about RAM built into it.
Oh, you want to talk about RAM?
I got 3 gigs of RAM built into this.
I got 4 gigs of RAM in this baby, and he didn't even know that. I didn't even tell him that because there are like, I don't even know any other smartphone on the market right now that has 4 gigabytes of RAM.
Because you don't need it.
No, you need it. Trust me, if you're multitasking with multiple apps, you want as much RAM as you can possibly get. It's something I always had in my computers, and now it's something that you want in your smartphone.
Let's talk about storage. I've got on my LG G4, it comes power packed with 16 gig of storage and expandable inside of it up to 128 gig. 64
gigabytes, baby, built-in storage on here. So you get 4 gigabytes of RAM, 64 gigabytes of storage, and no, don't worry, you got a removable micro SD. You can put up to 128 gigabytes, add 64. You can do the math at home of how much storage you can have inside this phone.
So putting these side by side, I'm looking at about roughly the same size screen. This is 5.5 inch.
Yes, it is a 5.5 inch screen. This is like the poor man's G4 because it looks very similar to it, but it is more affordable. It has the same features, the knock on, knock off, right? Now, if you turn this around, look where the volume buttons are. Right on the back, just like that. Just like the G4.
Yeah, very similar. Yep, very similar design. It's almost like they copied the G4.
I think they were inspired by the G4. But I would recommend this phone. If you're a G4 user and say you signed a contract and you broke your phone, this is a great alternative to get because you're going to have that same kind of experience. But this, 4 gigs, 64 gigabytes of storage, $380 unlocked. Can't beat that, can you?
I can beat it.
So there you go. If you are in the market, you got 2 of the top smartphones on the market right now. The LG G4 and the Asus ZenFone 2.
Doesn't have a camera, doesn't have a screen tech.
Got a camera.
That's all I'm going to say.
Got a screen tech.
Look at this cover.
I'm just going to say it's the same quality.